So we all know that sugar isn't good for you. And over the years, there have been so many attempts to create something that still satisfies your sweet tooth without the harmful effects of sugar. But today we're diving into a recent study that came out on one of the most popular artificial sweeteners. And we're sharing this with you because we just feel it's so important for you to know. And be sure to stay on to the end because we're going to give you our preferred sweeteners and also a special little tip. And let us know in the comments below what kind of sweeteners you're using, if you're using any sweeteners, whether it be natural or artificial, and we would love to hear that from you. So there's a recent study that came out from North Carolina State University regarding the safety of sucralose, published in the Journal of Toxicology and Environmental Health. Sucralose, shortened from sucralose 6-acetate, is marketed under the brand name Splenda. Have you heard of this? And it's the nation's leading sugar substitute. It's added to so many products and identified on the label as sucralose.
So if you start looking at some of the food products you're using, especially anything that says low sugar, no added sugar, diet, etc., it very likely has sucralose in it. Like Stephanie said, it's like the most popular sweetener used today in the United States. And so the research came out, it's pretty alarming. They made several claims back in the late 90s when it was brought to market, 6 in particular, about its safety. So we're going to go over each claim and tell you how these studies sort of debunked them and what they found. So the first claim was that sucralose has stability in the body. So meaning that it was believed to pass through the gut without being digested, and it was just unchanged. But the research showed that it actually breaks down in the gut, releasing chlorine into the system and raising concerns about potential health risks because of that. Some of the health risks associated with this could be an increase in asthma and allergies, skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, and also because of the chlorine part, it could contribute to worsening of hypothyroid symptoms because it displaces iodine. Not good. Claim number 2, which we have known about this for a while because some of this research had come out before this, but this study kind of really solidified the research that it does impact the gut microbiome. And the original claim was that it did not. So it disrupts and damages the microbiome in both humans and animal studies. So this is not just about animal studies. This leads to a compromised gut barrier and systemic inflammation, meaning inflammation all over the body. So in terms of microbiome, this is like the hottest topic now. It's the milieu of all the bacteria that live in your digestive tract that do so many incredible things for the body, from, again, reducing inflammation to absorbing vitamins and minerals and with brain health and immune system, and too much to go into now. But this has now been shown to disrupt that milieu. That is not a good thing. We want to do everything we can to maintain and grow and proliferate and nurture our microbiome.
All right, let's talk about claim number 3, and that was that sucralose does not affect the intestinal barrier integrity. So what does that mean? So in our intestines, we have a 1-cell lining that actually lets nutrients get in, but keeps the bad things from getting into our bloodstream. And they have found that it actually is affecting this lining. So what happens is when things beyond nutrients get through the intestinal barrier, it can cause problems such as inflammation, increased risk of colon cancer. And a lot of times we see increased food sensitivities because whole food molecules get into the bloodstream and our bodies think like, oh, whoa, this is something we need to tag this as bad. So our bodies start to see these food molecules as something bad, and that can cause a food sensitivity. So yeah, claim number 3 seems to not be such a good claim after all. Let's move on to claim number 4, which is bioaccumulation. They said initially that sucralose does not accumulate in the body. Contrary to the initial claims, sucralose is found to accumulate in the body, particularly in adipose tissues. Studies have shown that it persists in fat tissues even after discontinuing its use. So that's really very troubling. And it can lead to increased lipid accumulation in fat cells. So this is even another concern for us.
I think, Stephanie, what they were showing was that it's several weeks it can exist in the body, accumulating in the fat tissue. So it's not like a forever thing, just to have people not be panic.
Right.
Some of these things can be reversed, so that's good news. But moving into claim number 5, the claim was that it didn't have any metabolic effects on the body. So that no effect on metabolism, no effect on blood glucose or insulin functioning. But again, this has been debunked. So they showed that does alter glucose and insulin functions in humans, impairs liver metabolic health, and blunts thyroid function. So anybody looking for weight loss help, this can actually go against exactly what you're trying to achieve. And as we talk about all the time, managing your blood glucose and your insulin levels are so important for long-term health, reduction of chronic disease, and weight maintenance. So, you potentially be eating a sugar substitute that is, making your weight problems worse. Okay, final claim is claim number 6, that there is no biological or toxicological impact on the body. So again, not true. Studies have shown that sucralose increases the risk of something called genotoxicity, which in a nutshell means DNA damage. Potentially could be leading to cancer down the road. And heating sucralose makes this worse. So people using it in baking or adding it to tea or coffee is not a good thing. One study showed that a single daily drink sweetened with sucralose was found to contain levels that surpass the threshold for appropriate toxic levels in a substance. Affecting your genes and DNA is another really kind of alarming factor that was discovered in the most recent studies.
So what this study is showing really is that Splenda is just not a good alternative to sugar for sure, especially if you're trying to lose weight. Like Jane said, it really will actually defeat the whole purpose of trying to use it in the first place. So we have our list of what we consider approved or better alternatives to sweetener. And those include things like erythritol, yacon syrup, stevia, monk fruit, even maple syrup and honey, which are natural. They do have some health benefits, but you use them at a lower amount. And the great news is we have found, not only ourselves, but almost all our clients, when you wean down on sugar, your taste buds actually change. So you're not going to need as much sweetener going forward. And one other thing that we want to mention briefly is there was a recent study that came out on erythritol, which is a sugar alcohol often used in lower carb type baking. And there was concerns about that. However, when we really dove into the study, it seems that they didn't really study the consumption of it. So we are not as concerned as that study might have appeared to be. So we hope this information was helpful. Please give it a like so we can continue to keep giving you the latest health information and everything that you need for wellness and weight loss for women over 50.